These are the dominant 7th chords on the 1, 2, 4, 6 string family on D flat. We'll begin with D flat, C flat, A flat, and F. And we can extend that with a suspended 4th. So the F can go to G flat and also to E flat back, so to provide a suspended sound. The A flat can move to B flat to give a 13th, 13 with suspended with a 9th. And these chords will be loosely related to A flat minor as well right here. So E flat, C flat, B flat, and D flat with an F on top, and then extending back to the sus4 and the 13th. 11th chords are possible. So this is a B triad over a D flat, E flat, B, and G flat. Okay. You can collapse those as well. So D flat and E flat can exchange. So now it's E flat, D flat, B, and G flat. Same for moving it up a tone. F, E flat, D flat, and A flat. And then going to an E flat 11th chord, so to speak. And then, so that'd be E flat, F, D flat, A flat. Move the F to G flat. It has the 13 dominant sound. Going back, this is an 11th chord as well. And it can move down to a 9th chord. So this is D flat, C flat, G flat, and E flat. The G flat moving to F to provide the sound of a sort of a dominant 9th chord. B major is also an option here since A flat minor is. So B, B flat, G flat, A flat, and D flat. And then moving the D flat to E flat. So it gives it a sort of a suspended, like a 2 or a 4 sound. And this, we could refer back to this B 9th chord, major 9, moving up to a D flat chord this way, a D flat 7. So this is B, G flat or F sharp, D sharp, and C sharp. Move the inner 2 voices, the F sharp and the D sharp, to A flat and F. So now you have a D dominant 7th type sound. And you could have a suspension on that. The F can go to G flat as well, just like the major chords that we learned earlier. Using the law of the fifths, so to speak, that F sharp, D sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. And you can hear how they all have a dominant sound. Okay. Moving down, it could be D flat, C flat, G flat, and B flat. Moving the B flat to an A flat. And again, you have those kind of planed opportunities with that sort of a voicing: E flat, D flat, A flat, and B, moving to a B flat. So again, any of those opportunities for planing are okay. And you have a B major here that has that sound. It can collapse right into the D flat like this: B, flat, G flat, and A flat. Moving our way down to sort of an A flat minor sound. So this is an A flat minor 9, A flat, B flat, G flat, and B. And if we move the G flat to F, we have sort of a D flat dominant sound. So we have a sort of a dominant 7 type sound. And there's a regular 9th sound without a 7th. We can put the 7th in if we wanted to. D flat, A flat, F, and E flat. Move the A flat again up to the B, and we have the 9th chord dominant sound. And that can collapse into that B chord sound that we looked at a little earlier: B, B flat, A flat, and E flat. So they all have that sort of a profile to them. Also, standard A flat minor. If we can get the F to it, A flat, G flat, F, and B, moving to a B flat. So it has a sort of an A flat minor sound. Same here, B, A flat, G flat, B, A flat, G flat, and B flat. Has that suspended sound for a D flat 7. Any chord that has a sort of a B sound, again, can be used as an approach chord or as the chord of the sound of the D flat. For instance, G flat, E flat, B, and D flat. And then you can see how the voices exchange. It's a little extreme, but it's a great sound. And again, so here it would be that B flat with an added ninth chord. The D flat on the top voice would go down to the bass voice, and then the G flat would go to the top voice. So that's, and we move it up to A flat, D flat, A flat F, D flat, E flat, a regular D flat 9 chord, added ninth, and then this E flat, F, D flat, and A flat. So we have the D flat triad up top, and then we can move it up to a suspended sound so that it becomes like an 11th. And there's the dominant 11th or 13 kind of sound, I should say. And that could even fold out to be an E flat 11th. So if you notice, in that dominant sound, you can use 2 different 11th chords, and actually 3, because it can go up with the fifths caveat that we have. We can take it, this E flat, D flat, A flat, and F, move up to G flat, D flat, C flat, A flat, G flat and E flat, going to F. We can move that up all up to A flat. This is an A flat, a G flat, a D flat, and a B flat, moving to a B natural. So that would have that sort of a tonality to it, as well as a G flat chord. So here's a G flat, G flat F, E flat, and B flat, and the top E flat moving down to D flat to prepare us. So there's a relationship between the E flat kind of sound as well. E flat, F, B flat, and A flat. A flat minor as well, moving to that sound. So that's an A flat minor 9, A flat, B flat, E flat, and D flat with an 11th, that sort of a sound. As we had said earlier, with this kind of a sound. So this, again, moving A flat, B flat, G flat, and B, moving the G flat to F to give it more of a direct dominant sound. For that matter, resolving it. Of course, these sounds work as well that we've been looking at with the other chords. So here, this is the A flat minor 11 collapsing to B flat, A flat, G flat, and D flat. And that moving up to D, E flat, D flat, B, and F sharp rather, G flat. Moving up to an A flat, an A flat 11th chord, A flat, G flat, D flat, B flat. And then, of course, resolving to the D flat dominant, D flat, E flat, B, and G flat. And there it is, D flat, C flat, B flat, and G flat, moving to an F. So that gives you a general introduction to the dominant 7 family. Again, keeping note of B major sounds, potential G flat major sounds, E flat minor sounds, and also the 11th chord sounds, and looking at the relationship of the fifths with certain sorts of chords. Again, these clustered voicings are fine too. I mean, we've sort of looked at them from that perspective. So E flat, D flat, B flat, and B acts as sort of a pseudo 13th chord. If we listen to that in context, feels like an A flat minor resolving to a D flat 11th chord. And then back to the dominant, and of course these sounds. So that would give you an introduction to the 1-2-4-6 family with dominant 7th chords without alterations on D flat as a root.